What's up, y'all? Welcome into Grind City Media's Draft Board Breakdown presented by Southland Casino. I'm Lang Whitaker alongside Gary Parrish. We are working our way through all the prospects in the upcoming NBA draft going down June 25th. We've talked about guys from Duke. We've talked about guys from Rutgers. We've talked about other lottery guys. And I wanted to talk about some of the wings. We're going to wing it a little bit here, Gary, because wings are the kind of guys that every NBA team's looking for. You can't have enough wings. We hear it over and over. These are some of the guys who've kind of stood out, I think, through this pre-draft process. Let's start out west at Arizona. Carter Bryant played there last year, and McDonald's All-American. Stats don't really jump off the page at you, but the highlights are sometimes pretty good.
This is among the players I've moved most in my mock draft since the end of the season.
Which direction?
Up.
Okay.
And the reason is, among the reasons, is because as you watch these NBA playoffs, what you said is shown every night.
Yeah.
The teams so often that win these games are teams that can throw somebody at you on the wing and make things hard for you.
Yeah.
Like, everybody understands playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball. It's something we say 12 months a year, but it's easy to forget until you see it. Mm-hmm. And Mikal Bridges is a perfect example in this. Coming out of college, even though he was awesome and a champion, national champion, all that stuff, it was like not clear if you should spend a top 10 pick on him because, he's a 3-and-D wing, but more of a role player. And how high is his ceiling? And will he ever be a All-Star, Hall of Famer, and do you really use a top 10 pick on a role player? The answer is yes, if he's a great role player.
Yeah.
Because you question whether you should use a top 10 pick on that guy coming out of college, and then once he establishes himself in the NBA, you know what happens? Somebody spends 5 first-round picks to trade for him. Yeah, Jalen Brunson is the main reason the Knicks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. But Mikal Bridges played a huge role in that. And however the NBA Finals unfolds ultimately, there will be wings who create steals and getting to passing lanes and then can knock down a shot, but on the other end take on tough assignments. Those guys matter immensely. They might never have a Hall of Fame ceremony, but they are the reasons franchises win championships.
Yeah.
And Carter Bryant, I think, is among the best of those options in this draft once you get out of the top 5, 6, 7 type guys. I don't know if it'll work perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the production was not All-American level.
He averaged 6 points a game.
There you go.
Yeah.
He has a ways to go, but he's very young. He measures the right way. All the defensive numbers are impressive.
Yeah.
He just checks all the boxes you want for a theoretical 3-and-D wing. Like if you would rather him be coming off a one-and-done season where he averaged 19 points and shot 47% from three. But if he was doing that, he'd be picked second right behind Cooper Flagg. He didn't do that.
Yeah.
But he's the type of guy that you look at and you go, I could see him being one of these guys that NBA franchises so like this for our franchise has been trying to find that guy for years.
Yeah.
Free agency, trades, drafts. Where can we find the guy? Who knows if he'll develop into that guy, but he checks a lot of the boxes of somebody who could.
Where did you originally have him in your mock
just
draft?
because you talk to enough people, you know he's going to be a first-round pick just based off of the idea of him.
Sure, yeah.
But as the playoffs have unfolded, I've gone even top 10-ish range, a certain lottery range. Because once I guess in the NBA draft, you can make mistakes at 1, 2, but you don't always.
Yeah.
Those guys are, the opinions are pretty formed on them.
Yeah.
Once you get to a certain range in the draft, it's like, we'll see. You don't know.
Yeah.
You can think you know, but you don't. He's in that mix of players, but he's high up there for me. And of the guys that you're trying to make bets on to hit, he's the type of guy I would want to make a bet on.
We're talking about just not even him necessarily, but just wings and guys who make an impact. And I think of the Thompson twins most immediately. These guys who came out of OTE and they weren't, the greatest players you've ever didn't score tons of points and all that stuff. But if you can,
they can help you win basketball games.
Move your feet, if you can play defense and just be in the right place at the right time.
You need those guys. Everybody needs those guys.
But someone else who's kind of, I think, gone the same direction in these mock drafts I've seen is Collin Murray-Boyles from South Carolina. Guy who didn't have a ton of acclaim coming into the season. I mean, same as all these other guys, played in the same circuit and all that stuff. Was a second team, all SEC, all freshman team at the SEC. Averaged a lot of points for a not very good South Carolina team.
He is an interesting prospect and an unusual one in the sense that this is the way you might describe him. He's an undersized, non-shooting front court piece. So what are we even talking about this guy for? Why do we want an undersized front court player who can't shoot?
Yeah.
Because he does everything else.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing him to Draymond Green because that's silly. Draymond Green's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and I just name the players outside of Cooper Flagg, and I'll just say no on Hall of Fame because it's a hard thing to get to.
Yeah.
But in the way Draymond can impact a basketball game in a variety of ways, just by understanding how to play and being smart and doing the dirty work and all that stuff, Collin Murray-Boyles can do that. I would never be interested in spending a lottery pick on a non-shooting, undersized big or at least I'd rarely be interested in it. Almost never be enthusiastic about it. But this young man is going to go very high in this draft despite those flaws, very clear flaws, because he's so good at the other stuff. There's the people are real fans of just the things he makes happen on a basketball court that it might not always show up in box scores, and certainly the shooting percentages, at least on anything away from the rim, is not going to be great. But he gets things done, and there's still a real need on a basketball court for just having a guy out there who can go get things done.
I've seen this dude as high as top 5. I've seen him as low as 20 something.
Yeah,
it's all over the place.
The truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
I feel like if you gave me that range now, 5 and 20, anywhere in between, I'd say that's where.
Yeah,
5. That's a big range, but not top 5. Probably not outside the top 20. Somewhere in that range, it'll just be a franchise that they need something like him. What they believe he can bring to the table is also what they need somebody to bring to the table. It won't be perimeter shooting. It won't be rim protecting. But he impacts basketball games when he's on the court. You just put him out there and let him go. And, we had a guy like that here once upon a time, Tony Allen, whose name is now in the rafters. Just put him – is Tony Allen flawed? Sure. Oh, how much time you got, right, as a basketball player?
Yeah.
But – just put him on the court, and he's going to make things happen, and you're going to feel good about what just happened.
Yeah.
It won't always look the right way, and it might frustrate you. But good things are going to happen when he's on the court. Draymond Green does not deserve all the money he's made based on his ability to go out and score this and make that and whatever. But he will be in the Hall of Fame someday because of the way he can impact basketball games in an unusual manner. Collin Murray-Boyles he impacts basketball games, and that's why he will be picked in the top 20.
So one of the other guys who is in this category and didn't really have as much of an impact on games, I watched him a lot this year, Asa Newell, played at Georgia. He's sort of the opposite of Collin Murray-Boyles. He checks all the boxes for size. The measurables are awesome with him. Tended to kind of float during games some this year when I would watch them play.
But was still super productive.
Yeah, he averaged 15 and 7 this year.
And to do that in a league that was the best league in the country, arguably the best version of any basketball league of all time, where because of the transfer portal, you have tons of older guys and stronger guys. Like you see him there, he's flexing, but he ain't muscular. He's got to get his body. I mean, this is just all basic 18-year-old stuff. He's got to get his body better. He's got to get stronger. But he was super productive in the best league in the country, and there's a lot of reasons to be excited for what he can be. I don't know that he'll ever be the same type of wing player that, say, a Carter Bryant could be, because he is more of a he's going to play more 4-ish than 3.
He's got size,
he's more of a if we're putting traditional terms on it, and you had to make it one or the other, he'd be more power forward than small forward.
Yeah.
But in the NBA, you're going to float around in positional stuff, and he will find himself playing 3-4, whatever. but he was super productive.
Yeah.
In a season of college basketball while being young in a league that was largely old. And that's all good stuff.
My thing with him was, this Georgia team needed sort of an alpha dog, and he kind of tried to fit that role, but averaged less than 1 assist per game. Not really great at creating for everyone else. He was pretty good creating for himself. You could dump him the ball, and he got to the free throw line. He could shot 30% on threes for a 6'10" guy. It's pretty good.
Yeah, some of that is just when you get to draft prospects, a lot of times they have literally forever been the best player on their team.
Yeah.
And that will change. That changes. Sometimes that changes for guys in high school. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it changes for guys in college. It changes for almost everybody in the NBA. But a lot of specifically what you said about him is something people might say about Ace Bailey. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, super talented guy, very productive, but like, does he make for other people? Does he create for other people? Does he make anybody better? And if your job your whole life has been to go out and get buckets, you have not really probably spent much time trying to figure out how to make people better. Like Mike Conley played a lot of his youth with Greg Oden.
Yeah.
Well, he was wired to make people better and get the ball to him, and that was his whole makeup. He spent years doing it.
Yeah.
And Ace Bailey's job has been to score. Asa Newell, his job at Georgia was to go get buckets.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying it's a non-concern. I'm just saying with prospects, needs to add weight, needs to be more intense on the defensive end of the court. These are like evergreen assessments that you can say about a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I hear that, but all that stuff can come later, and hopefully it does.
Yeah. Last guy we're going to talk about in this category played at UConn last year, Liam McNeely. Had some injury things throughout the year, but is at the point now where going through the combine stuff and everything else, people are kind of see him as a pretty good fit in the NBA.
Yeah, because that number's not real. I mean, it's real. The 31.7% from three, it's real. That's a real number. I should have said that differently. But people aren't concerned about that number.
Yeah.
Like when you see Yegor Demon's 3-point percentage, that is a real concern for NBA people. Jeremiah Fear's 3-point percentage, real concern. That's not, because they know he can shoot. Even in the NBA every once in a while, you'll see people go through a 10-game stretch, a 15-game stretch, where they can't make a shot. Like Desmond Bane went through a couple-week thing, and I think it was because he had injuries but Desmond Bane, a world-class shooter, will have a 10-game stretch where he doesn't shoot it well.
Sure.
Well, when you do that in college basketball, that messes up your season percentages.
That's half your season.
Right.
Yeah.
Particularly when you also miss games for injury.
Yeah.
So that's a small sample size. And what it reminds me of a little bit, I'm not comparing them as players, I'm just comparing them as shooters. When Bradley Beal was coming out of Florida, go look up the numbers. I don't have it in front of me. He did not shoot well at Florida. And I remember talking to NBA people throughout the draft process, and they did not care. And they said, look, we've been watching this guy for years. We know he can shoot. Go pull all his EYBL numbers, Nike grassroots stuff.
Yeah.
We go pull his high school number. We know this guy can shoot. He didn't shoot it well in one season of college basketball for whatever reason. But we are unconcerned with shooting. And then Bradley Beal gets in the NBA, and for a good part of his career, he's considered one of the great shooters in the world. Liam McNeely is a little bit like that in the sense that 31.7 is a real negative 3-point percentage for lots of prospects. It will be the thing that cost you where you otherwise would go. You could go 7th, but now you're going 14th. Could go 10th, now you're going 19th. Why? What's the main reason this person who's so talented slipped? Real concerns about the 3-point shooting percentage. With McNeely, it's just not. They believe he can shoot. So that number won't hurt him, and he should be a lottery pick, I think.
What are the other things about his game that, I've seen people mention is playing off the ball, his ability to understand spacing and understand the game?
Well, sometimes with shooters, we get caught up in just focusing so much on the shooting. We do this with Con Knippel as well. Like, what a great shooter. And he is. He's an elite shooter. And McNeely projects as an elite shooter. But he's not just a shooter. He's a well-rounded basketball player. And Dan Hurley has talked about this, not specifically about McNeely, but just broadly speaking. After they won, back-to-back titles, he's asked, so in the recruiting process, what do you look for? And the quote was the winning shit. I want people that are wired a certain way, that are made of something that I desire because you can win with them. And Cam Spencer, Memphis Grizzly, is a great example of that. Dan Hurley and that entire staff, they love what Cam Spencer brought to the table. Tristan Newton, they loved what he brought to the table. And McNeely's got a little bit of that stuff too. Like the stuff UConn recruits, he possesses. And that's not just shooting. That's makeup. That's personality. That's character. That's the winning shit.
Yeah.
He brings the winning shit to the table, according to Dan Hurley. And if I were running an NBA franchise, I like that kind of stuff too. Cam Spencer here.
Yeah.
They love him here. Mm-hmm. Zach Kleiman mentioned him by name in the exit interviews as young people that they're excited, or just people they're excited about. I don't even think it was young. Like, Cam Spencer's on a two-way contract, and his name got brought up by the general manager at the exit interviews.
An effing grizzly bear? Wasn't that what he said? Yeah.
Yes, all right. I'm not comparing McNeely to that, but the same guy who wanted to bring Cam Spencer to stores wanted to bring that guy to stores.
Yeah.
The winning shit.
Yeah.
He's got that, and if I'm an NBA franchise, that's the stuff I'm looking for too.
So out of these four guys, I guess Murray-Boyles and Carter Bryant are the two kind of that seem to be, in most of these mock drafts I see, those guys are kind of the higher of the four.
Maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised to see McNeely go, like, if we popped up and it's like, and with the 8th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the whatever, select Liam McNeely, UConn, like, that's not crazy because somebody could just fall in love with positional size and can really shoot it.
Yeah.
Positional size can really shoot it. We're just like when we're talking about Mikal Bridges once upon a time. Can you really spend a top 10 pick on a role player if he's going to be an awesome role player?
Yeah.
If you really love the things that he brings to the table, any prospect, then you'll never regret spending a top 10 pick on somebody who helps you win games.
You can't have enough wings.
There you go. I mean, that's everybody in the NBA is out there offering 5 first-round picks for awesome wings.
Yeah.
What if you could get one for just 1 first-round pick?
There you go.
Well, here's your opportunity's coming up later this month. You can maybe get one with just 1 first-round pick instead of having to trade 5 first-round picks for 1 in 3 years. Yeah. Just go get him now, identify him, get him, then develop him, then there he is. McNeely could be one of those guys, certainly.
Well, here you go. We've given you 4 wings. One of them might be awesome. Maybe all 4 turn out to be awesome. Who knows? But that's what the draft's all about. So we're working our way through all these draft prospects. We got more episodes coming at you. He's Gary Parrish. I'm Lang Whitaker. You're watching Grind City Media's Draft Board Breakdown presented by Southland Casino.